Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules and Matt Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we go and watch a little bit of anime, and then we come back here and we discuss it. And this week, this is the first time that we're going to be discussing a new anime called Dimension W. It's not new, it's new to us. We've never seen it, and we hope that you went on this anime journey with us because it's a lot of fun and you get to discover new anime. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. We won't talk about the last anime we talked about, but I didn't go and surf through the Dimension W alone. I'm here with my co-host Matt Galley. Matt, how's it going this week?
It's going good. This has been a very refreshing anime to watch, in my opinion. It's been a needed change of pace
Sure.
after things that we don't need to talk about. So
And
it's been a good week so far.
a
How has
lot
your
more
week been?
fighting because I know that was like that's your thing. You
Yeah.
like battle shonen sort of. This is sort of a little bit more fighting, and I was like, okay, this is dope. I like
There's
the
a little bit more
animation.
fighting, and there's one of my favorite things to see out of an anime when the kind of like the big crutch, the big thing that the show's like doing kind of influences all parts of the show.
Yeah.
It doesn't forget what the show is about.
Because it has 12 episodes to tell you a story. We have 12 episodes to tell
Exactly.
you. We are down 4 episodes. Again, we're gonna be talking about Dimension W, episode 1 through 4. Thank you so much to everybody that's joining in the live chat. If you're watching, say hey so we know you're here. But if you're watching later on YouTube, you can do it on YouTube. You could watch on Spotify, or you could listen on Apple Podcasts and leave us like a review or 5 star, 5 stars, and let us know your favorite anime. I don't know. But on this show, we do take suggestions. This was a suggestion from CZ, who has suggested quite a bit, and we have a lot of suggestions here in the box of dreams here in the anime chest. And we have a lot to go. And if you would like to put an anime into this chest, it's 500 bits while we're live, and that's how you do that. And then you could just name us an anime, and if it's like a decent one, not like a hentai or anything, we'll put it in there, and it could be pulled out. And Matt on his mic has all of the pulls there, which is really cool because it is a legitimate chest. It is a chest that we pull from. So, thank y'all for being here, and let's get started because we have a lot to talk about because this is our first time talking about
Talking about the
this
show.
anime. So, Dimension W. I want to talk about the music and the the
Yeah, the
iconic
intro.
intro first before we dive into episode one. Um, bro, the dances are next level. I love this intro. This intro is so good.
I didn't
Um,
skip it
I
for
don't
my
skip
first
it.
4 episodes, yeah.
I love like kind of like it reminds me of Power Rangers as well because like in the original Power Rangers they were like there was like a talking thing where they said like what's going on. Rita Repulsa does this, and then now they're here to conquer Earth, and it's like dun dun dun, and it comes into the music, right? That's what Dimension W is giving me. It's where like it's giving this little intro. This is in Dimension XY. There's another Dimension W here, and then this is whatever, and then it starts, and they start dancing. I love it. What do you think?
No, yeah, I like how high octane the the opening is.
Yeah,
The music, yeah, the music goes hard. I like how it's really focused on our MC, Kyoma Mabuchi, and like, just we were just talking about it a little bit beforehand where like, as you watch the show, his characterization plays out and you wouldn't expect him to be like dancing or whatever, but I like that it breaks him away from like the usual there just to put him in that little moment, even if it's just for a moment, even if
sure.
there's no dancing in the rest of the show. I don't care, we got that moment and I'm happy about it. And then the whole action sequence with him in his car,
In the
because
car,
the more we learn about him, his car is like kind of an integral part of his character in this
yeah.
world as we learn more about this world.
I love that, and I didn't expect it. I did not expect because like we see a gasoline car or whatever, and then it's just him kind of driving. It's like, oh, there's some like driving here or whatever, but it's really integral, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be more integral to his character going forward, because of what we learn and how it's gas powered and all that stuff. So, intro's a banger. The ending as well. The ending song is pretty dope. Very
Yeah.
chill.
And on
I
the
love
inverse, I like how it focuses more on the our other main character, Mary,
Mira.
Mira. marry Mira, my bad,
Yeah,
wrong note.
it's all good.
That focuses on Mira. I like how
I
it
love her
just kind of
outfits.
yep.
So cute.
I love how it just kind of puts her in all these different sequences because I mean, at least so far we really don't get to see her do much on her own, but we do get a bit of stuff, a bit of Mira plot.
Sure. Classic anime, putting your main character into some random situations to just show off the outfit and to show
Yeah.
off the, with your surroundings and stuff. Let's talk about episode one, Collector. Give me a little breakdown about what happened in episode one. We're going to dive probably the deepest on this one because this one sets up a lot.
Mhm.
And I want to talk about it as like an opening
Yeah.
episode. So, episode one,
To
Collector.
yeah, to kind of hit it in a nutshell so we can start talking about it, we get introduced to this world, I think it says the years I should have wrote this down, 38 or something like that, and the whole world's, kind of connected to this global system that's called the world system using this technology that's able to draw power and energy from another dimension,
Hmm.
a fourth dimension that got proved
Dimension
somewhere along the
W.
way. Dimension W. We have the XYZ axis and
Yeah.
the W axis gets discovered, and
That, okay.
technology is created in order to like pull the from the limitless energy of Dimension W. And there's all these stations around the world set up to interconnect the world and to like moderate the power of Dimension W. We learn that very quickly in this opening sequence, the creator of the coils is like missing. Gasoline is almost like $100 for a gallon. So gasoline cars are being like eradicated. Everything's going to run on this world system power grid. We meet our main character, Kiyoma Mabuchi, as he gets told that he has a job, and we learn as he goes about his day that he's kind of in a profession that deems him as being a collector. Collectors are tasked with collecting illegal coils, which are the things that pull the energy from Dimension W. So there's a black market for these illegal coils because they're probably not being made by by traditional means. We also meet Mira as she takes care of her elderly dad. He seems to be in kind of a not a great state, and she's like out to try to get water because their taps turned into sludge. She comes across this group of people that are selling that just got a hold of illegal coils for the first time at the same time that uh Kioma is getting there, and things play out, and it turns out that she was a robot. She's powered by coils, and they're on the rooftop, and they can see in the distance this huge like pillar of light forming, and Mira knows that that is a omen that her father is gone, because he said if you ever see a pillar of light, that means that I'm no longer here. um he kind of gets absorbed into this black hole. Like, it
I don't
was
know.
kind of it was kind of nuts. Kind of reminded me of the getting twisty after diaries break.
Yeah.
But yeah, the episode kind of takes us through and introduces us to Kioma and Mira into this world. And by the end of the episode, Kioma is he's hauling Mira back to his employer, Mary, because or Marie, because her power cells, like her power coils, died, and they turn her back on, and she asks to also become a collector.
There's a lot here. We're gonna
There's a
dive
lot
into
here.
it. I like when a show makes up rules and then they immediately go into it and just go past it. They just want to set you up so quickly, and then it's like, okay, this is the sandbox we're playing in, and then let's go. Kind of like if you're
Mhm.
gonna start playing Dungeons and Dragons, like, okay, there's dragons in this world, there's whatever, there's magic and stuff. It's like, okay, let's play in this little sandbox. I love that they set it up. They're like, hey, new Tesla, which is really funny, new Tesla energy. We're getting unlimited power from Dimension W. I don't know, man. It just kind of happened. And then this is the world set up. And then they set it up as well that gasoline is a high commodity because it's they said it's like spiked 4,000% in gas prices. And even the main character wanted money half in cash, half in gasoline.
Mhm.
So they're setting it up to be like, okay, this is we're out of the world that we're living in and we're in this other world. And it sets it up very well, not too like overcomplicated so far, and I was really happy about that because it can get kind of complicated and
Yes.
it's starting to get a little complicated and I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm down for the story you're telling for sure.
I like how quickly it was able to establish 2 different characters and kind of have them intersect, like, ki like, kind of reasonably. The like, Mira, she just kinda looks off into the distance and, like, kind of grows suspicious of, like, these weird suspicious figures, like, hanging out about this building, and, kinda gets drawn in by incident, but, but I like how, like, she's set up away from Kioma. Like, they're
Yeah.
not kind of they have their
No.
own bubbles that they exist in.
Sure, and then they meet, and then now we're gonna go on their journey together. Some other characters that I was really intrigued by, not s I mean, we find out that, Mira's dad, Dr. Yurizaki, was the one that created everything, was the guy
Yeah.
that created the whole Dimension W technology, and it's like, "Okay, well, that's interesting, that's suspicious." But then we also meet, a person named Albert Schumann, who's, the head of
The
Dimensional
dab.
Administrative Bureau, head of key. Yeah, the DAB, the Dimensional Administration Bureau. He's head of the DAB. And it turns out that Mabuchi and him have some background
Yeah, some
together and
history.
they have some like history and stuff because they are well, we find out later that they're beasts of Grendel, which is they were war buddies, I guess. And they need a kid. I'm okay with that. Yeah. But like I love that they kind of just hint at that. They're like they know each other. They're on opposite ends of the spectrum because one went towards the new technology, new
Mhm,
Tesla
mhm.
being the head of it, and this other person's sort of rebelling against it by stealing coils or illegal coils and stuff. And I love that. I love that dynamic to tell in a short form story. And I'm curious where they head on, where they
Mhm.
go. Are they friends? Are they not really? What
It
are
it
they?
it reminds me if you've, I mean, a lot of people probably have. It reminds me of the 2 main characters in Samurai Champloo a lot, how they kind of like one's way more like, um, one's demeanor is completely different from the other,
Sure.
and they're complete like, foil characters to each other. That's
Yeah.
the word I was looking for.
Yeah, I love that. I love they introduced him in the first episode, and I love that we get to see Mabuchi's reaction to it because we he doesn't talk a whole lot. He kind of just says stuff without saying things and he we see like his movement and the way he up until this like I don't know what he's doing this for, but that's okay. I kind of get a hint of it, but like I'm ready for them to tell a story. I'm so excited to hear more about Mabuchi because every little tidbit that we get is just like, oh, I want to know. I
Mhm.
want to know about this character. What is his grizzled past? What's going on?
And
And
we even in later episodes, like, there's a moment where Mira tries to ask, Mary, like, "Hey, like, what's his deal? Like, why doesn't he like coils?" And she's like, "Why don't you ask him?"
yeah,
Like, "Just ask him." And she's like, "Well, he doesn't respond." She's
yeah,
like, "Well, maybe he doesn't wanna talk about it." It's like,
yeah,
"Well, alright, you got me
yeah,
there." And that's how I felt. I was
yeah. I
like,
was like,
this is
okay,
me, the audience being addressed right now." Like, "Alright, I'm
well,
sorry."
maybe you should stop thinking about it, huh? So a lot of cool stuff set up as a opening episode. Outside of the podcast, would you continue?
Oh,
Is this
yeah.
enough intrigue?
I was sold, after, by the end of the credits rolling, I had a million questions that I wanted answered. Yeah, the world is built out very well, very quickly. Like, there's a lot of things that aren't even explained, but just we get to see in passing, like the fact that Kiyoma's employer Mary kind of runs this like robot fight club or something,
Yeah.
like battle bots,
Yeah.
and he's just passing through the battle bot arena. I thought this show was about to be about battle bots.
Yeah.
That's how well that sequence was set up, and I'm just like, oh, that's just a thing that happened. Like that
Yeah.
was really cool. I enjoyed that. Like
It's
it
world
didn't have
building.
to be a thing. Yeah, exactly. It's making it adds to the fact that we see in that moment, oh, a coil gets ripped out and they're like, coil break, whoa. It's just like
Yeah.
coils, 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 coils. That's what this
Yeah,
first
it's all
episode sets
about
up.
that, right? So, like, the big thing, the big misdirect and the red herring that I'm getting, which is really cool that they're doing it, is that they're making it a ton about the coils, about the actual human thing that they're using, where it's the fight against the illegal coils. This big company is doing this whole thing, and they're misdirecting us in this direction to think about new Tesla. But I'm thinking now by the end of it, it's gonna be like, wait, what do we even know about Dimension W? We don't even know what this is about whenever like all the human brains are thinking about these like little petty differences and these petty things that are happening in the world. And it's like, wait, we don't even know, what do you mean by unlimited energy? What does this mean? What is
Mhm.
unlimited energy from another dimension and we're just okay with it? I'm not
Yep.
okay with it.
Yep.
Why is
And
everybody else?
especially when we get an explanation, yeah, later in, there's
Sure.
some more explanations that, yeah, make me think like, what are
Yeah,
they
what
doing?
is
Like,
this?
what's being tapped into actually?
Yeah. Let's get into episode 2, Loser, because this was totally different and I was
Yeah.
totally on board for this. Episode 2, Loser. Who's a loser?
So, episode 2 sees Kioma and Mira as they have now kind of become partnered up. They get an assignment to collect illegal coils from this, like, kind of, I guess you'd call him a parasocial celebrity named Loser, who is this he's kind of this guy that goes on heists to try to steal like pieces of artwork, antiquery, stuff like that, but he's never made it out with the loot, so thus the name Loser. But he's built up quite a following. Like he has a
Yeah.
huge amount of people that like to watch him because he broadcasts these heists. Um, Throughout the episode, Kioma learns about the concept of numbered coils from Loser before bearing witness to what's called a dimensional collapse, which was really freaky and trippy. Like I was not expecting. Again, yeah. What is Dimension W? What is this power they're tapping into? Um, During this episode, we also see that Mira gets to go on their own little side quest mission because it's she gets tasked with finding all of the like illegal coils that Loser has set up around in order to do his broadcasts and stuff
With the boards.
with the boards. um
Very cute.
yeah, episode 2.
Yeah. So we got a lot of information and me. Uh this was very different from the first one, and it was really cool that they went this direction, because we still get a lot of information. There's a lot of information in this one as well about especially numbers, like you talked about, dimensional collapses. Um, but the introduction of a whole ass another character about this art thief, and then everybody's like I almost thought it was gonna be some like gotcha man sort of thing, and I was like, what is this about? What is this? But he's a loser is an art thief, and he's never succeeded in stealing so much as people know, but like he's actually just stealing the numbers from the artwork. But the artwork stays there, which is kind of cool. We learned that again, Mambuchi was a war survivor from Grendel. He was a specialist against coil weapons. And he sort of alluded to something there with him talking to Loser that there's some sort of truth that needs to be revealed because he knows it's weird that Loser knows him as well, and that intrigues me. Like, it intrigues him, it intrigues Mabuchi. There's like, "Why do you know me, and what do you know about this stuff, and why do you know my truth?" Whatever
Mhm.
that's gonna be. But it also intrigues me as the viewer where it's like, hold on, loser knows a lot more, and what is this character? Well, this is
Hmm.
they set him up really cool, and so as far as like three, I guess, sort of main characters, Loser, Mabuchi, and Mira. Like, I love it. I love these characters. Like, this is so cool. They have motivation. Loser has a lot of motivation because of his wife. He alludes to super quick, super like, this is what I'm about. Here I am, and we're gonna play in this world. And I love
Hmm.
how quickly it's going. It's so
Hmm.
dope. Um,
I really, um, yeah, with him knowing so much about Mabuchi, I it makes me think like as to how much he like knew beforehand, like if he was involved with something with Mabuchi as well. But I think it's
but
he has his son, like, on comms with
which
him.
is
Loser
cool,
has his son on
which
comms,
is
like, he's the
cute.
tech guy,
Yeah,
is his little kid,
with the birds.
and, his kid is the one that mentions, I think somebody's following him and that, he has no coils on him. Mabuchi is completely coilless, and then he's like, "Oh, I've heard somebody out of, like, the 34th precinct that,
Sure.
operates without coils, but has impressive control over their physical attunement, the body, whatever."
What do you
Something
think
like that.
Sure, what do you think about Mabuchi's weapons? Which is kind of, like, really interesting. They're like daggers, and then he, like, Attack on Titans away
And
into
I was
things, you know what
gonna
I mean?
say it's so ODM gear the way he just zoop,
Yeah, he's like,
and he
"Shoo."
just swings on out of there, but,
Yeah,
it I like his weapons in the sense that they would be the perfect things for, I feel like, destroying coils and stuff like that if he needed to incapacitate, like, they're very precise
sure.
and, they can be, like, used at a distance as well as he can just, use them right there, stabby stabby. So, I think they're the perfect thing that he would use to, be on the hunt for illegal coils.
Something interesting in this episode, which I think they were alluding to, but they didn't say outright, because Mira is a robot,
Mhm,
not a person, not a human, and from what we know about the world, which is not a whole lot just yet, there's some robots and things like that, but they are not sentient. They are not, they take orders, they do this, they do that. We also see in this episode the art guy have two robots that try and attack Mabuchi, and they're just incapacitated so simply, and they don't have a whole lot going on in here. They just
mhm,
take orders, they do whatever, and they're run by coils. She's run by a coil as well, but in this episode, she is creative and she thinks like a human. And there's some like allusion to that about what she is in like her past or something, but um she's very different. And we're gonna
mhm.
find out, I'm sure, soon. But like D did I don't know what is Mira? Because she's thinking outside of the box. She had the creative thought to be like, "I need to get out of here and figure out where those things are sending and
Mhm.
how to figure it. I need to get out. I can't see it because I'm in it, so I gotta get out." And I'm like, "Aren't robots supposed to have that kinda
I mean,
super."
at the end of the first episode, I didn't really we didn't touch on it too much, but they kind of like they do an inspect on Mira, and they kind of like come up with, oh my god, like look at this. If not for all of this stuff, she's pretty much indistinguishable from a human in a lot of ways, but she's also one of the most complex feats of cybernetics we've ever seen.
Sure.
If you look at what's got like, and then somebody says, like, is that an actual brain she has up there? And he's like, well, boop, 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 look at this. It's as close to like organic as you can get, but it's also still, yeah, super complex and yada yada. So
Did Dr.
it's
Urizaki
she
create
yeah,
sentient AI?
I think it's a combination of what we learn later, because it wasn't Shido that created, Mira, even though she calls him dad. He might have been part of, like, the programming or something like that, but it was, Shido's wife that was the
Mhm.
robotics, expert that, like, put her together and turned her on. So, she's probably just, like, I mean, obviously, she is just the most impressive android, robot that's ever been created in that world,
Yeah.
probably created by the best robotic scientist.
Which
But
also wants me to continue watching,
yeah,
which is like, what is she? What is this about? How is this connected to Dimension W at all? If it is she from Dimension W? What is this? Um, yeah, I love it. I'm super about it. We see our first dimensional collapse. Something that happens when an illegal coil is
tampered
tampered
with.
with in the wrong
Yes,
way, and that was insane. And
that was very Lovecraftian. No, borderline Lovecraftian. It was more Cronenberg
sure,
esque,
yeah,
the way things like
all the faces.
yeah, the way things like ended up solidifying. And he was like, "What's happened to my body?" I was like, "Buddy,
Yeah,
what do you even mean? You're not even a person
and
anymore."
then Mabuchi was like, "It's gonna harden soon, so you're good."
Whatever
It's like,
that
"Wait,
means.
what?" Yeah.
Whatever that
So,
means.
am I gonna be alive? Like, what does that mean? Am I all of this? Am I Nana? I don't know. Um, so yeah, good episode so far. Good episodes. I'm super about it.
One,
Um,
super throwaway line, that happened is while Mira is, like, jumping onto the trains and, like, jumping around, trying to get to the point using her brain, like you said, uh, she mentions that, like, the coil that she has in isn't, like it's, like, an official coil, but it's not the one that, like, Shido gave to her, made for her, something, so her jumping isn't as strong.
yeah,
Um because in the first episode, we see her, like, try to jump away from, Mabuchi, and she
yeah.
leaps, like, 4 stories in
Mhm.
one bound, but we see here she kinda has to, like, take all these
Hopping.
super hops and stuff, and
Mhm.
it gameplay-wise made me think of, like, Super Metroid where, like, Samus is all strong and then like,
Yeah.
"Oh, no, I hit the wall. My suit, all my
Yeah.
abilities, I have to get stronger again. Been disempowered."
Uh
Yeah, it just made me think of that.
Dimension W walked so Ant-Man Quantumania could, I guess, run. Yeah, could
Insane.
waddle, I guess, over. Let's talk about episode 3 because we get some more information about numbers and some more Dimension W stuff. So, Chase the Numbers, episode 3, what happened?
In Chase the Numbers, we get this episode as it mostly closely follows Mira as she gets her payout from the last job that they did, where she
Mhm.
turned in all of the pigeons with all of the little illegal coils, so she got paid out for that. And she buys a trailer to set up outside Kiyoma's garage. Um, a group of kids introduce themselves and get themselves into a bit of trouble, needing to be rescued by Mira. And this leads to her secret of being a robot getting exposed to the kids. Kiyoma goes out and stops at a mechanic and asks about the numbered coils, to which he gets a brief explanation that the numbered coils pull from the basically an infinite well of energy from Dimension W, where normal coils just pull from the surface layer of Dimension W. So that gets into, what's going on in Dimension W. Um, and then on his way back to the garage, finds the incident with the kids, the aftermath, and has to get taken in for questioning. Things work out fine. He ends up back at the garage to find Mira a little broken, as she explains. Um, and he thinks it was Mary that called him to get out of the precinct when he was under questioning, but it was really Claire Skyhart, the one of the
Whoa.
COOs of one of the new Tesla Energy towers. So she is the COO of the Tower 47, and thanks him, because it was her granddaughter was one of the children at the site of the incident.
Yeah.
he he basically was like, all right, so I can leave. He's
Yeah.
always just ready to go.
He's like, "I just
And
don't
then
wanna be here."
Albert, his name, I'm pretty sure, takes a
Mhm.
call with Claire immediately after, and things go a little wary as she ends on the note to herself that she hopes the world doesn't get destroyed.
Yay. Some
Yay!
stakes, yeah.
So
So
something's happening with, on that layer,
sure.
there's many moving parts going on
I like it.
that we see.
I dig it. I dig that it keeps opening up, and each episode gives me a little thread. Gives me a little thread about what's happening and what could happen later on. But we also get some flashbacks from Mabuchi here. You get some more flashbacks of his time in the past, and that's all I need. You know what I mean? I don't ever need him to like super explain it. Well, it could. I would love his motivation for why he eats coils or hear that story, but we don't need any more. I get it. I understand him, and I understand Albert as well. So like giving us those little flashbacks, I'm just like, cool. I'm here.
Mhm.
I know your character. I'm in it. You're probably going through some shit still. So yeah, who doesn't love a world-ending event in our media?
It's true.
From Tesla, yeah, same. Mhm.
Oh.
S Before we get into, that stuff, we get, another little nugget of information from Mira. Like you said in the beginning, she's trying not to be a robot, she's trying not to show that she's a robot, whatever, whatever, but, we get information about her as she's talking, sort of monologuing to herself, or is she talking to Mabuchi? I forgot, but she says she needs to sleep
Oh, yeah,
because
she's scolding Mabuchi because, like, she doesn't have a room.
she doesn't have a room. She needs a room privately to change, to sleep, whatever, all that stuff, to use the restroom. Another girl peeing in an anime, but whatever, she's a robot. Because of nanomachines in her system, like blood, she needs sleep. So Mira needs sleep to, to
So
whatever,
so she can become recalibrated,
to
basically
recalibrate to
basically.
yeah. We're getting a little bit more. I'm like, is she really a robot? Like, it's honestly giving me like, I get that she's robotic, but is she really a robot? Like, what is it? I think for now, I think it's just kind of playing off of like what makes a human sort of thing that we've
Yeah,
seen before.
exactly.
Um in other anime that we watch where it's like, well, what is she then? Is she human? Can she be considered a
Because
human?
we didn't touch on it, but in the first episode, it's Mabuchi gets super caught off guard because, even though she's a robot, he notices that, she's crying,
Yeah.
and he lets his guard down for a moment, and she slaps him, and she knocks him unconscious by slapping him.
Yeah.
And then later, when they see the pillar of light, she starts crying again because she knows that that means her father is gonna be gone, and he's like, "Why are you crying? That's not gonna work on me again."
Yeah.
Like, he just becomes so cold. And,
Yeah.
yeah, it gets
But
into, like, if a robot's sitting there crying about losing their father, is that a robot?
yeah, what is it? Yeah. So it's just adding more layers to it because she goes in depth. And like in a show that's only 12 episodes long, I'm pretty sure it's only 12 episodes long, right? 12
I'm pretty sure
episodes
that's what we saw.
and then that's it. But in a show that's short, and if it's good, and if it's a good show, which I'm assuming this one is, and so far I've seen, yes, it's good. Nothing is wasted. There's no time wasted. We don't have time to waste. Everything's important. Them taking a lot of time to explain the nanomachines in her system, that she needs to sleep, that she needs to empty out whatever sort of things in her, like that stuff is trying to tell us something, and I think it is just saying, like, trying to blur the lines and also just, like, enhancing it for something later. I don't know what it's gonna be. I don't even know what Mirror is, but it's gonna enhance whatever is gonna come, probably at the end, so I'm here
Yeah.
for it.
I mean, I feel like this whole episode is kind of like the Mira episode. It's like it takes a lot of time to make her feel like a character, solidify her in this new bubble that she's in with Kioma now that her old world is gone, which was her father.
Sure, and because we see her wanting to play with the kids too.
Yeah,
Like we see her talking about how she's only ever been in with her dad or with you know, Dr. Yurizaki, and just being there, and then she sees like other humans, and she's like, "Wait, like I want to, I want to hang out, I want to protect them or whatever." And she cares for people, and it's just interesting. It's really cool.
hmm
So let's touch on the numbers stuff
Yeah,
because we found out that numbers, there's like the original coils in the beginning in
in the beginning.
2039 or whatever year it was, 2039, when coils started to be a thing, when they first started to pull from Dimension W. There was like a lot of, well, the first like couple hundred or whatever
A
that are
bunch of
called numbers,
experimental ones, yeah, that went out for
experimental
everybody.
coils that did a lot more than the coils you see now. So they're reaching into the abyss of Dimension W, and they're a hot commodity because I guess they give more power, or it's like unlimited, unbridled, whatever coils.
Mhm.
But apparently, they're a lot of people are looking for them. Especially in the last episode, you see that the people are looking for these numbered coils. Um, but what it like? How do you grasp? Have you grasped it yet? The idea that they're pulling unlimited power from something that we don't understand fully.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I don't
I
know.
mean, like, like, it's a concept for sure, and it's yeah, it's like it's that's where I guess the term Lovecraftian for me comes into play because it's, yeah, drawing from a well of what seems to be infinite power from a source where you have no idea what is even actually going on in Dimension W or whatever. If it was discovered and then immediately, like, they just began to try to siphon power from it. That's what the show sets up at least. So,
What
I
do you
mean,
think is on the other side of Dimension W? Do you think it is just unlimited energy and it's just there, that some math equation mathed out, right?
at the end of the 3rd episode, I would not have a solid answer to give you,
Mhm.
but I probably would have at least had something. After the 4th episode, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
yeah. Okay.
4th episode
Okay, let's talk about it at the
gets
end then.
kind
Sure, sure,
of
sure.
wild.
Yeah, because then we find out more stuff about that at the
Yeah.
end. Um, yeah, totally. I totally forgot. Yeah. There's a lot more about it. So we meet the COO of New Tesla, Central
Mhm.
47, Claire Skyheart, and she's a hot grandma, and she's great. I don't
Love
know.
it, sorry.
I like her character. I like the way they introduced her too, like
Yeah.
this screen right here.
I,
Uh
yeah, I like her character, I like the way she's introduced, and I like, again, it takes 2 different worlds and, like, smashes them together right in front of you where it's like, "Oh, it's her grandma," like,
yeah.
it's just it sounds like something that shouldn't have to be, like, explained or whatever to draw, realistic reasons why connections and stuff would happen, but
Sure.
when it does happen and it just again, leaps of logic don't have to be made, it feels amazing when it's just
Yeah.
like,
It's like, oh, crazy. Yeah,
love the show
that's
so
really
far.
cool.
Um,
Let's dive into episode 4, the mystery hidden in Lake Yazogami. Because I feel like we have a lot to talk about in this one. So, what happens? What goes down? Give us a little bit of episode 4.
so at the very end of the 3rd episode, it leaves us with a cliffhanger of like a housemaid walking in on a guy in his library, like on the floor. It looks like he had been like drowned. He's suffocated, but he's like inside. He's indoors. Um, so the 4th episode wastes no time in getting Kiyoma and Mira on their way to their next assignment on the road, and Mira like sees a ghost on the road, pretty spoopy. They're there to look into the death of who we saw in the last episode at the end, a renowned horror author by the name of sorry if I'm saying this wrong, Shijuro Sakaki. Um, it's later revealed by Albert to Kioma that a numbered coil is likely on the premises, and a bunch of chaos begins to ensue with ghost shenanigans and what I thought were hallucinations, but are actually like another reality imposing itself on the surface layer of our reality. And because of the heightened capabilities of Mira, she's the only one that's able to experience it after reading through the entire collection of novel work from Shijiro Sakaki. Like it gives us a flashback where the doctor was like telling her every time you get information, you need to like imagine it completely as a picture in your brain. If you get new info, reimagine it. So her reading all of these horror novels and doing that is like messing with her psyche, but then it's like things are actually there's actual like misplay going on with the numbered coil on the premises. um a lot of twists and turns that this episode takes us on. A lot of a little bit of unnecessary Mira plot that we get with her in the shower, but if the show doesn't do it again, I'll forgive it.
Yeah.
But if it does it again, we're gonna have some beef. Anyways,
And
so yeah,
then
and then so by the end of the episode, we see that Kenjiro Kuroda, the alter ego of Shijiro Sakaki, has taken Mira hostage in this alternate reality, I think.
yeah,
I don't know if I'm
we
completely understanding what's going
sure
on with all that.
we should probably talk it out
And there's
about
some
what I
side
think.
plot happening with like these this like group of 3 people that that call each other by like colors, and um I didn't write that one down.
Bats,
Yeah.
Batgirl.
Elizabeth Greenhow Smith, who we find is another collector on the premises looking for the number most likely. And throughout the episode, like there were little bats all hanging out all over the place. And then in
Yeah.
that moment, I was like, it was her.
Yeah.
She was the bats. Loved that moment. We get more mention of the Beast of Grendel with uh
Albert.
Yoma and Albert. Yeah, there's a this side thing going on, and then these 3 guys like kidnap the new owner of the mansion because something with their like dreams have to do with the fact. I'm Episode 4. I was trying really hard to understand what was
Sure.
going on, but there's a lot.
I mean, I it's every episode has been something a little different, which is really
Yes.
cool. Which is also why, like, I don't know, I have D&D on the brain, but like, the idea that everybody met in a cavern or a tavern, and then they can do like a bunch of little different stories or whatever. Or like if your main character is like a mercenary, or like Grand Theft Auto, you can be you're the character, but you can go on so many different paths and so many different things that can happen. Well, with this, the only thing that's tying them together is that they're searching for illegal coils, and that's so open. That's
Mhm,
so open to whatever can happen. So like I love that each episode has been so different, but like the plot is still the same. Like the plot is
mhm,
still the same. We're still trying to figure out what actually is going on, us as the viewer, like what's happening with Dimension W. But in the story, these characters are being set up to do something. They're being all like pawns moving, and then later on we're going to get some more huge stuff. But right now it's all super just set up, and it's like we're still going on our mission, but it's taking us to like a spooky, like this episode had so many spooky vibes, and I
mhm.
was digging it. I did not expect it to be like, oh, like I was like, oh, I don't know, this is kind
Yeah.
of scary. This is actually really scary.
It
Yeah.
kinda genre flipped for sure, and it did it well, because,
Yeah.
like you said, there's still the interconnecting thread of we're looking for illegal coils, that's what we're doing, this is our
Eh,
job. In the 2nd episode, we saw it with, them finding this little celebrity, and, they had a little celebrity back and forth introducing a new, character, but, and that was kind of, very actiony, like you said, it kinda had some, almost, that Gotchamen crowd or like, Super Sentai vibe
yeah.
to it, but then now we're getting, what's probably gonna be a set of episodes that are, like, horror themed, which is
Which
really
is
cool.
crazy.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's almost like
Um,
being at an amusement park where
sure.
the concept of the amusement park is the show, and then, it's got all these little fun different attractions that it wants to show you.
Matt just wants to go to Disney again.
Bro, I miss Disney. I was just there last week too.
Oh god. Um, so we get this setup of Lake Yasogami where apparently there's ghosts, people see ghosts. There's That's where the
They
death
haven't seen it in a
of
while.
Yeah, they haven't seen it in a while. That's where the death of a famous author happened, and that sort of sets up our little uh, not like a who done it, but like sort of like a. I thought we were gonna get one of those with Mabuchi and Albert and Mira going there. I thought we were gonna get like a who killed him, where which one of you guys did it,
I
and I
didn't
thought it
know
was gonna set
ghosts
that
were
up.
gonna get involved,
Yeah,
man.
I didn't know this whole like there's another layer to it. I thought it was just gonna be like the butler did it with whatever. And I was like ready for that. I was like, okay, this kind of campy. Okay, they're all going like on a trip and they're all going to a mansion. It's gonna be a horror. And I was like, okay, okay, a little campy. And then they're like, wait a second. It's just so much deeper where Mira does the whole thing where she gets into the mind of Shijiro and because she read all of his stuff and she actually pictured another thing that makes her human
Yeah,
uh where she can place herself into a place. Like she can think about it and she's using her creativity to bring her mind to that space, that
empathy
horror space. Empathy as well. Yeah. I mean, she shows them she's showed empathy since the beginning. So that's another um I don't know, another check in the human box.
for in the last episode, yeah, definitely.
While we're talking about it, I guess I can ask like what do you think Mira is? Before we get into the whole dimension thing, the whole all the other stuff. Like what do you think happened with Mira? Again, we're watching Dimension W. This is the first time me and Matt have seen it. We've only seen up to episode 4 and we're going to give some thoughts because I don't know, it's fun.
The show's done a very good job of making it a constant question as to what the deal is with her. Because every time, like, yeah, I think every time I thought like I had kind of like a concept or a beat on her, it like threw something in there where it's like, wait, well, now what? How do I feel? It kept doing that consistently for sure. Even that moment with I love that moment in the foyer when everybody's like meeting for the first time and Elizabeth introduces herself to them and Mira starts scanning her and she like it's not nice to scan people without their permission and that's
Yeah.
just like, that's yeah, you're right. And that's just something that like Mira probably hasn't experienced before, like somebody like, checking her on that
Yeah.
accountability aspect of her super perceptiveness or whatever you might call it.
Do
She
you
keeps pulling out
think
new abilities and stuff.
sure. Do you think cuz I'm leaning one way. Do you think she's a robot with human parts or a human with robot parts?
If I were to have to take a guess between the two,
Yeah.
I would lean towards a robot with human parts.
Okay. I was thinking the opposite. I think she was a human at some point. I don't think he I think they're misdirecting to where they they're trying to tell us that he created artificial intelligence, like true artificial intelligence. But I think the real thing is that she was a human, which is also really spectacular to do, really. Is she was a real human, but she got transferred somehow uh body wise to be a robot, I
Now she
guess.
can't remember the old life that
Yeah.
she had before.
Mhm. I think so. Or,
Mm.
like you're saying, she was a robot that just he possibly just did very well because he's a insane scientist. Or like you said, his wife did where she just figured it out or something. I don't know.
Maybe somebody wished upon a star.
Maybe. Maybe Dimension W is all wishes. Oops, all wishes. Oops, we're all robots.
Ghost in
But
the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell, who? Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
But then like this made me think as well, like, is she from Dimension W? Is Mira from Dimension W? Because like I was like,
I was
what?
thinking that, but then, like, I don't need that then that starts to get into concepts where it's like that's breaking the mold of what the show has set up so far,
Sure,
which is fine, but it's like then it's like, that when I jump to that conclusion, that's quite a leap of logic that I hadn't seen set up prior.
sure.
And I feel like the show is trying to do
Has
things. I feel like this is gonna be good for rewatches.
yeah,
I feel like this is probably gonna be a good show to rewatch
yeah.
because even that one thing with me seeing the little bats in the episode, and then it's like, "Oh, it was Elizabeth with the bats."
Mhm.
I'm sure there's already stuff like that that I've missed.
For sure. Let's get into what's happening in the story because um There's a lot. We learn a lot about this place. It's kind of crazy. But the big reveal, the horror novelist Shijiro turns out to be another person from the past, and he says, "In your world, I called myself this." And it kind of does like an overlay that this is the same person. And my conclusion was that he is a horror novelist that wrote about what he went through because he's from the past. Um, but it's like overlaid onto now. Like the past is overlaid onto now, but we see it as ghosts. And but then Mira is experiencing it. And some people experience it,
But not everybody.
but not everybody because I'm not sure.
That's where I'm getting lost, is, like,
Sure.
where's the line drawn between, like, who experiences this layering of realities and who doesn't?
Because now Mabuchi is gonna go and try to save Mira, but can he even reach her? Because they are technically in the same spot, but are
And
they in the same dimension?
I get the concept of having him, like, "Oh, my partner's in trouble, it's time to come to the rescue," but if I were to make a prediction for the next 4 episodes, my prediction would be that, not even a prediction, more, I guess, a want, a desire. So I
Sure.
want Mira to get herself out of that situation on her own.
Sure.
I want her to just pull out some sort of stop, some sort of, again, she's using her brain, she does something else that helps draw and blur the line between her and what humanity is, whatnot, in order
Bec-
to break out of that situation.
because Mabuchi and Albert have their hands full
Yeah.
because there's some other people that are searching for coils, the numbers, and they have to fight them. So like
Mhm.
while Mabuchi's like, I can't save this person, because maybe for the first time he has his hands full. Or you know what I want next episode? I want Mabuchi and Albert to fight together because that would be badass. I want them to be back to back, just like the old days. Oh, I got goosebumps. I
Oh.
got goosebumps because I was like, I want to see them. I want to see both of them just fight together. And I'm like, oh,
I
like
liked the sequence of them fighting each other
yeah,
really
yeah,
quick,
for
or more
sure.
like more like Kiyoma just attacking
Yeah.
Albert.
I love that. I love these. I love these characters. They're super dope so
It's
far.
like, "It's the 3rd story, what are you doing?" He's like, "That's not nearly high enough." Just lands on his
Yeah.
feet like a cat.
Oh my god, it was so good. I love the little one-off lines. I think Loser had one in episode 2 where I think his son said, "Oh no, what about no, it was Mira." It's like, "Oh no, what about Mabuchi?" And then Loser's like, "He's not the one to die from something like that." And then
Yeah,
it just showed him just standing there. I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah." They each respect each other's awesomeness.
yep.
And it's like, it makes them more awesome because they're like, no, they're fine. They're just
And it's kind of like this shared conspiracy at this point with the whole numbers thing, as to, like, who's on whose side. Like, sure, nobody wants to see the world get destroyed,
sure.
but, like, who's on whose side?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So you have one prediction. I don't know. Should we do like just one like wild prediction? We can touch on it next time. Just about anything, I guess. Um,
My prediction,
sure,
by the end of the, series,
sure.
first, like, yeah, my prediction by the end of the series, Dr. Shido Yurizaki, he's not dead.
Okay. Do you think he's? I
If there
I
was
think
no
he's in
body, there's
Dimension
no
W.
kill.
Sure, nobody. I think he just went to Dimension W,
Exactly.
or the
Or
bigger
it's a
play.
wormhole to
Sure.
Dimension W or something like that. Yeah,
Yes.
you know?
The thing that I'm most leaning towards here by the end of the show is that Dimension W is to the past. Like it's just Dimension W is some sort of wormhole into the past. And somehow we are taking energy from ourselves or something like that. Or somehow it's like, oh my God, like, wait, what? We're destroying our planet because we got to this point because of this, and it's sort of looping on itself. And maybe Dr. Urizaki just went to the past and he bootstrapped it to where he made the
Not
Dimension
the
W
time
thing again.
paradoxes again.
Yeah, more time paradoxes. I think that's what's happening. because we saw the layering here in the Lake Yazogami, um, which where is where I got the idea, where I got the thought from. That and it's also a cool story. It's also like I've seen it done before where it's like, oh, we're the reason. What was the reason? And it was me the whole time. You know what I mean? And I love that story where it's just like looping and we didn't know it was going to be that. Okay, but please don't get mad at the anime if your predictions don't come true. I
If my
would be mad.
prediction isn't true, this is the worst show ever.
Yeah.
F tier.
F tier, infinite F tier. What are some of y'all's predictions? What do y'all think about this anime? Let us know in the live chat or on YouTube or on Spotify or anything, or you can tweet at us, Anime Hour Pod, or join the Discord because we have a Discord and you can talk about the anime there. And I'm really enjoying it. It's really cool. I like this idea. I like the characters. I'm waiting for something to be spectacular because I feel it. Like it's on the cusp. Like whenever um in music, because I'm a musician, it's like whenever you hear somebody play something and you're like, that's good, but I know you can make it great. And I'm waiting for this anime to be like, and I think it's gonna be the ending. I really think they're gonna stick the landing on the ending, and that's what's gonna make it amazing.
Mhm.
So, I'm super hopeful. I'm really happy with this. So, what are your
I've
final
been in
thoughts here?
No, yeah, yeah, I've been enjoying this anime so far. It's been a pretty good change of pace, a pretty good breath of fresh air with, everything that this anime has to offer. I've been
Sure.
enjoying it a lot, and, yeah, as long as that fan servicey bit doesn't carry
We didn't
through
talk about
somewhere,
it,
like
right? So they don't bring a whole lot of attention to the fan service, but it's definitely there. It's a lot
yeah,
better than Future Diary, though.
yeah.
I am
It's
fine with
handled
this.
tastefully, a lot more tastefully, but,
It it just
it's
kind of
still just like, this shot's 100% necessary, right? Like,
the
type
shot where she's like
sometimes.
jumping, and then it's just butt, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, man,
But
she's a
it's
robot.
it's it's whatever. It's just something that, I'd rather not have, but with everything, there are things that I'd rather not have. So,
Yeah, that's fine. Um,
um, can't wait to watch
Dimension
more.
W. Dimension W first 4 episodes. We're done. We did it. And next week, if you would like to continue the conversation and come back and chat about it, we're going to be watching episode 5 through 8 of Dimension W. And I'm sure there's going to be a whole lot more plot, a whole lot going on, and a whole lot of interesting stuff and character development and all that. So, episodes 5 through 8 of Dimension W by next Thursday, and we can all watch it together. We're all watching this during the week, and then we come back and we talk about it. And you can watch it live on Twitch, twitch.tv/JulesTheHuman, or on YouTube, or on Spotify. You can watch it there, or on Apple Podcasts if you want to listen
All
only.
the things.
All of it. Matt, where can they find you on the internet?
When I'm not here, I'm, on my Twitch at twitch.tv, Matt_Galley, and I will be streaming today in about, like, 30 minutes.
Whoa.
And then also on my socials at it's Matt_Galley, that little ITS before. And then where can the people find you?
Jules the Human, Jules the Human on all social media, on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, all that stuff is the same thing at Jules the Human. And yeah, that I'm really excited. I'm really hopeful, to be honest. I like that we clean the slate every time and then we start over and then it's always something new and interesting. And shout out
Mhm.
to everybody that's given us suggestions. We're going to keep going through those. 500 bits during the live chat is how you do that. But episode 5 through 8 next week for Dimension W. And that's been the Jules and Matt Anime Hour.
Until next time.